So today I want to talk about FL Studio templates and why you would probably want to use one. Let me tell you a story. So for the longest time every time I start FL Studio, I would go here and I would dedicate a single channel or a single track on the mixer to be my reverb send. And then later I would send all of my or some of my channels that needed some reverb to this channel. And I would open my reverb and then I would open my EQ to kind of like dim the effect that the reverb has, so it's not really that over the top shiny, like especially when you send all of the stuff to it. And I would do it repeatedly again and again every time I'm doing a song or a beat or a track or whatever. And it only occurred to me recently that using a template is so much useful, and here's why. Because you can essentially, what a template is an FL Studio project, right? And I kind of didn't want to use it because it felt like if you create a project and you have some things default inside, it kind of kills the creative aspect of it, I guess. And it only occurred to me recently when I got the machine and I wanted a project essentially to load the machine VST inside it every time I open FL Studio, right? So then I discovered that you can actually do a lot of things with templates, not just open plugins. It's you can adapt your whole mixer for the way that you wanna work, like. And when using FL Studio templates, you can like use other people's templates, but I strongly recommend making one of your own, especially if you're a producer who has been producing for a long time and you haven't been using templates. I strongly recommend making one because you probably developed a workflow that you like to work in, and this is gonna help so much with it. So for example, what you see here, I'm having this FL Studio mixer color coded and routed in the way that I would normally do it anyway. So here you have 20 drum tracks in the mixer that are coded in yellow, and all of them are routed to the single drum bus channel here. So the way you route things in FL Studio is you just go to the track you want to route somewhere and you click on another track where you want to route it to. So normally all of the tracks are routed to the master channel. So here what you want to do when creating buses is you want to so normally they are connected here. You want to go here and unconnect them and connect them to some other track. In this case, it's a drum bus. So a bus is essentially like a mini master channel. So this way you can connect all of your tracks on your mixer to different buses here. And normally you would have, this is a lot of work here to mark everything and set it up the way you want. So normally you would have to do it again and again and again when you open FL Studio. However, with templates you can just save the project as a template and make it so that it opens automatically. So if you go here and you go to general settings, I think it was, you have this default template here and you can choose one of the templates that you have saved. And whenever you open FL Studio, it's gonna open that template. So it's really easy. You just go here and click save as, and I already have it here in my favorites, and this is the path where you normally would save it to. So you just save it in here and that's it, and FL Studio is gonna know, okay, this is a template, it's not a project. And then after you saved it there, you just go here to general settings and you set the default template to that thing. So whatever you do here and you save it, it's gonna stay there. So it's gonna make it so much easier later. So for example, you can be really creative with this. You can just come here and say, I don't know, let's put a filter on the master channel, right? So you can just say, okay, I want to have my filter on my master channel, and let me just put it turned so essentially it's off. And you can just say, okay, I want to connect my filter to my MIDI controller. And you go here, link to controller, and then you move your move your fader or your knob or whatever you want to control it with, and you do the same thing for the resonance here. And now you can save this as a template, and your controller will essentially stay linked to that. You wouldn't be able to normally have that. You would have to do it every time, again and again, open the filter and then link to a controller that you want. This way you just open FL Studio and the controller is already linked, right? So what you can do with that is, this is something that I find myself using a lot of times. So for example, I don't know, a lot of people like to make an intro based around filtering. So you can do that like right away. I mean, you just have to be creative. If there is a thing that you do on every project or on many of them, you should probably incorporate it into your template, because it's gonna speed up your workflow is what it's gonna do. It's gonna drop the unnecessary things and leave all the creative stuff for your decision to do. Another thing that you can do is you can create already sections in your beat. And this is like a thing that you might like to do or not, depending on your own personal preference. But this is this is kind of like the most used structure in songs. So you might say that if you do it like this, that all of your songs are gonna start to sound the same, but I don't think that's what people hear. Like people, they want a story, right? And a story has to have some structure to it. So you can play with this, but essentially if you have some kind of structure beforehand, this is gonna help you avoid what I call loop syndrome. And that's the situation when you go to make a beat and you just create a nice drum pattern, but you don't know what actually you want to do with it. When you work this way, and specifically the way I work is I have a machine as a VST plugin here, and once I create something with machine, so let's actually do that now. Let's just go to the beginning and let's just play it, and let's set the tempo to, I don't know, somewhere around 90. Okay, this is fine. And we hit record, and now we record something in machine. Okay, and I say, I don't know, I like this. So what we can do now is in machine drag this out, and it's gonna export it, and now I can just put it in my project, right? And we turn it off in machine so it doesn't double play. We drag it here, we go inside, we say Transient Bleeding. What this does is it removes the click that you sometimes can hear when cutting your audio clips in FL Studio. So we can do this and just paste it over, and then you can play. And since we already have the cutoff connected to the filter, now we can do this. Okay? Or you can just start it from this position together with the resonance. So as you can see, it enables you to be even more creative, because you no longer have to go and do all the manual work. You just turn on your FL Studio and you go to work, right? So isn't that what we all want to do? So just be able to like sit down and make music, right? So that's how I think about it. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. So maybe this, I don't know, inspires you to be more creative, and helps. It really helps if you're really lazy. So it's gonna help you like when you open FL Studio and you don't feel like setting up all the bullshit. You just go and do something creative, and actually machine helped with that a lot. So but yeah, even if you don't have machine, like if you have whatever, you can just play with FL Studio plugins and set up things like You can just add, I don't know, reverbs, different reverbs to the send tracks, different delays, stereo enhancers, whatever you want, like, and you can have it all set up in one project, in one template, and whenever you open your project, you know it's gonna be there. Not only that, because later when you're revisiting a session, everything will be familiar. What happened a lot to me when working without a template is that when you revisit the project later, you're kind of lost because you don't know where anything is, because you connected your, let's say you made a beat and you connected all of your tracks to the mixer as you went, and they would just be all over the place. It would be like kick would be here, then you probably made a piano, then a snare, then whatever it is that comes after that, right? So, and then you don't know if you made any routing, you don't know where it goes, and this way it's a lot easier, right? So the way I have it structured here is you have your buses on the left and your sends on the right, and you also have a recording channel here, and these little things here that you can see, these are called separators, and you add them before a channel by clicking right on the channel and going here and clicking separator, and it's gonna help you divide your mixer into different sections, right? Even inside, because you have like a left docking side and then you have a right docking side, and then you can even divide those, so you can organize the shit out of your mixer here, right? So yeah, that's it. Go ahead and play with it and see if it fits your workflow. I really hope it will, because to me it's just something that I no longer can live without. And yeah, that's it guys. See you in another video. Bye.